them.
Now be careful. You don't want to cheer him on as he goes to the bathroom, exiting. Make for an interesting panel. So you know what? I want to bring to the front the man who wanted to start on the panel. Is Stefano lurking about? Stefano, I'd like to invite Stefano up. And if he's not here, well, no, I'd also like to get Illusion up here, someone that we were talking a lot about. If Chris, a.k.a. Quantic Illusion, is here, I'd love to ask them some questions because, oh, yes, Illusion, come sit by me.
Oh, yeah.
Sit by me. We have Quantic Illusion. Join us. Now, I want you to pick this mic up, and I want you
have to eat
almost eat the mic. I want you to hold it really close, right? Closer.
No, you have to, it has to be touching your lips.
Yeah, so excellent. Now, I just want to make sure that we do have the Q&A question lined up. I want to begin with one by asking, how do you prepare for the Stefano Violet Zerg combo other than, not buying Diablo 3?
That's it.
That was the primary practice technique. Yeah. What have you been doing to train for this event?
Practicing builds. I haven't looked at their videos yet, though. I should.
Yeah, well, I mean, is there a reason you didn't, or is it just time related?
I'm lazy. I'm really lazy.
Considering. Oh, yeah. What about our predictions, Chris?
I predicted you.
Now, I'm happy to take a question from the audience. Do we have the? Yes. Yes. And please say where you are coming from and your name.
All right. I'm Andy. I'm from Austin, Texas. And this is primarily for Day 9. What do you think the sickest final matchup would be, and who do you want to win?
Who do I think the sickest final matchup would be? Yeah, I think the sickest of all time would be a Last Shadow Ostoji final. That would be the sickest. Everyone would be like, oh my God, nothing happens the way it should at this tournament. Honestly, I in my heart of hearts, I kind of want Squirtle to make it to the finals and have another epic series, but win this time. Because that would be such an incredible redemptive storyline after that basically one game in the finals where it finally fell apart. Now, Chris, I actually want to direct the same question to you. Oh, I didn't tell you who you do it against, did I? I want to do it against Ostoji. Now, Chris, I want to ask the same question to you. In your eyes, final match, what would be like the most epic final match, and who would you want to win, assuming you weren't playing in the tournament? It was a 15-player tournament with a weird 3-player group.
Who would I want in the finals?
Yeah, and
Violet and Red.
Really? Is there anything about these two players specifically?
Violet's freaking crazy. He plays weird. And Red's really standard. So it'd be interesting to see them clash.
That's a very well thought out answer. I like that. Now, Mike, which two favorites would you like to see in the finals?
I mean, as far as being entertaining, I think your initial prediction of Ostoji and Last Shadow would be very interesting. That would get lots of comments going. But I definitely would have to cheer for Squirtle and also Stefano because he's currently the most successful player outside of Korea. So
yes.
he has a lot of fans now. And I think he's like 8th or 9th most earnings. And
really? Wow.
Yeah, so I just want to see him go all the way to #1. And so I would say Stefano.
I'm going to have to entirely agree with Ostoji Last Shadow because I would love to see that in the finals. Although I don't even know if that's like possible
They're
with
in
the
the
way
same
that the
group,
bracket
so.
works out. Yeah.
No,
that actually means that they'll be on opposite sides of the bracket if they make it out.
Depends.
Right?
They're in different groups.
Oh, sorry, no, they are in different groups. Sorry.
Yeah.
They were just talking a lot before.
And also,
like smack-talking each other, so it's
one
good.
other player I think would be great to see in the finals is Parting because despite being just feared by everyone, he still hasn't had that huge, gigantic win. Now, Chris, I want to continue the cycling in and out of players. Is there anything you'd like to say to all the people who came out to cheer you on?
Stefano's going to get owned.
That is so good.
Off the stage.
And ladies and gentlemen, Marcus DJ with Graham. Several pounds lighter back for the panel. Well, the microphone is currently roving.
It's out about.
So at this point, your tool is gesticulation. Now,
oh wait, same question. Same question.
Same question.
Yeah,
who are 2 players that you would want to see in the finals, and who would you want to win?
Honestly, I'd like to see Violet versus Squirtle because, but it's impossible, I think, for that to happen. So
no, that's entirely possible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Any 2 players can meet in the finals of the tournament.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say that Violet and Squirtle, because Violet is kind of like the most recent U.S. champ. And then we've got Squirtle, who most recently the GSL champ.
Yeah.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Millennium Stefano, who is known for his ability to win a lot. Now, Stefano, we don't actually have a question for you right now, but I want to ask, what are your predictions for how tomorrow's going to go, especially after Illusion was just like, Stefano's going to get owned?
I actually don't know Illusion, so... everything is said, I think.
Hold it. Yeah.
I said I don't know Illusion, so everything is said, because if I don't know him, he's quite bad. And it should go pretty well for us non-Illusion guys. And yeah, that's it. He will lose for sure.
Wow. Now, is there a player in this tournament you really fear?
Yeah, there is. Squirtle, I'd say. Squirtle.
You need to hold that mic like touching your lips.
Squirtle!
What noise was that? That was amazing.
He actually became a Squirtle there for a second.
Now, it looks like we have a question from the audience, Mr. Stefano. And please say where you are, or excuse me, well, I mean, you're there, but what's your name and where are you from?
I'm Truman Long, and I'm from Round Rock, Texas, and I was wondering, for Stefano, like, who came up with the idea of, like, getting a Broodlord strategy so quickly, like, straight up tech to Broodlords?
What did he say?
Where did you get the straight tech to Broodlord strategy that you've been doing a lot? That's enough feedback.
I didn't copy it from... I didn't get it from anyone. I just thought by myself and thought about a new strategy, and I found it.
How was that sort of transition, especially in like Zerg vs. Protoss, where you've been getting the really fast Infestor spine in the mid game? I mean, I know it's probably weird to ask exactly about your style, but are you still like favoring a lot of the Broodlord tech? I've seen you lately do a lot of the crazy hatch macro play.
Nowadays, I try to switch between the 2 strategies, like high tech and big armies. And I try to just surprise my opponent with this, because otherwise he knows what I'm doing and he can't really... He can just blind counters me, so it's quite bad.
Well, I'm gonna give a mic over to Marcus and ask you to ask Stefano some questions, since you've been micless.
Stefano, so one of the most sort of prolific strategies, if you will, that has come out of you is the really, really quick max. But it's obviously not the last strategy that we're going to see out of you. And one of the more popular things that we're seeing now is Zerg versus Terran play, Ultralists coming into play, into Broodlords. What do you think is the ultimate versus Terran endgame as far as a unit composition is concerned?
I'd say there's 2 ultimate late game composition against some passive Terran, defensive Terran. It would be Broodlords, Infestors, and some Corruptors. And I guess an aggressive turn, it will be Atralisk, Zonglings, Bendlings, and Infestors, because he will keep dropping and stuff, and you can defend with the Broodlords.
Well, I want to immediately follow up and ask about the new Queen, the mass transfusing we've been seeing. Does this adjust your compositions at all?
Mass transfusing?
Actually, Stefano, you're one of the guys that hasn't been going Super Queen early on. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a fun strategy. I don't use it in tournaments. It doesn't work.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Any other questions for Stefano?
Hey, I'm Paul. I'm from here in Austin. And first, I wanted to say Husky rules.
Husky does. And, are there any other Husky fans?
Man, you really put it on the line there, Sean. If they were like, no, he's the only one. No,
that was a dangerous question, man. I was playing with fire there.
I came here to watch Husky cast Stefano in the finals. So that's what I came here for. But anyways, my question is for Stefano, and I wanted to know what was the hardest transition out of your 3-hatch mass roach that anybody ever threw at you? What was the hardest counter to your mass roach?
I'd say it's Nexus first opening with into gate, robo, 4 immortals, shuttle, and harass on second base. It's totally blind countering me, and it works quite well. That's it.
Yeah, that's actually the build that Sase's been doing a lot on the ladder, seeing him do this like ultra fast robo. It's like a 5-minute, 30-second robo, or even 6 minutes, and just chrono boosting out a ton of immortals and just pushing at 930. It's so good, and a lot of Protosses just let the base trade happen. And it's almost too. Have you even like tried to go for base trades? Are there like solutions you've tried to come up with?
When you go on 200 supply watch links, you can't really take the fight against it, so you obviously have to trace base trade, I mean. And it doesn't really work, so the only way to defeat it is to get infestos, but you can't really without the gas, so we'll see.
Stefano is in a group with no Protoss. Yeah, are there any, one last question, and then we're going to swap in a new player.
Hello, my name is Michael Nose All Franco. And I just want to say, first off, Day9, thanks so much for helping out with CSL, because I'm on the Rice University CSL team, and it's amazing.
Yeah, collegiate esports, yes.
Yeah. And then I have a question for any of all 4 of you. It's about Goody. I was wondering what you guys think about Goody as a player, how you think he excels, even though, like, quote-unquote, he has just terrible macro and stuff like that. What about him makes him win these games?
I mean, he has a great intuition for his mech play because, I mean, if you just pick any style and you just do it again and again and again and again and again, you start to learn timings, weaknesses, strengths, and then your opponents who are seeing it for the first time can get crushed. And Goody doesn't do a lot of goofy, cheesy, crazy stuff. It's generally pretty straight up. And as a result, I mean, even I remember him winning a series against Rhett, I believe, at Home Story Cup, which was standard huge swaths of mech. But of course, as you say, his big weakness is that every factory has 7 Hellions queued up on it. And I mean, it was really painful. Even it was a screenshot from the Spring Arena 2.
It's every game ever. I've cast many Goody games, and I don't know how he does it, but it makes me love him even more. I've never met him in person, but just watching his games, I mean, I think he has the lowest APM out of any player I've cast ever. And you know, you gotta do what works, man.
No, I mean, Goody's pretty awesome. The picture was like, which Terran is this?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that's Goody. He most recently defeated MMA. Probably one of the most priceless responses to this defeat was MMA's tweet that was quite simply 7 question marks. And I think that pretty much summed up like what, you know,
that's like Goody as a whole. Like, a lot of times players will tweet after, they're just like, God damn it.
Now,
how did it happen?
I have to ask, I'm sure you've wound up against Goody in tournaments or on the ladder. What do you feel about his mech playstyle?
Well, he's very used to play this style, and he gets kind of perfect timings. He knows when to attack. He has like the worst macro ever, but he is always in the good position with his army. So it's hard to surprise him and stuff, and that's his strength, I think.
Do you find it that you have to make big adjustments with your playstyle to deal with his mech mix?
Obviously, you have to surprise him a bit, because if you play standard, he will just crush you. You have to play a bit cheesy, bitchy, or anything you want to just surprise him and make him not go on his standard play.
Right on. And
wait, Sean, can I ask him a question really quick?
Lay it on me.
I'm just curious, Stefano, you come from Warcraft 3, and I'm just wondering, is it different practicing for Starcraft compared to Warcraft 3? Like, do you need to play versus more opponents, or would you say it's about the same?
Warcraft 3 was harder because we had an extra race, so we had to we had like way more matchups to practice. And overall, I think Starcraft 2 is easier than Warcraft 3 on the micro side, but on the micro side, Starcraft 2 is way too faster. On Warcraft 3, you have a lot of time to macro your units, go back, attack and stuff. While on Starcraft 2, you can't really do it. It's just a click and split your army a bit.
Right on. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to say thank you to Stefano for coming on our panel. Oh, that was so close. I thought you were going to leave, and I was just going to be like, well, awesome. Thank you. You know, let's go ahead and bring on some players from Group B. I'm curious if Sase is still lurking about. Mr. Sase. Quantic Sase. If you are, just scream at the top of your lungs so we know that you're here. Excellent. Is Thorzane lurking about?
Oh, I sure hope so.
Thorzane.
Thorzane. He actually went back to practice? Is he?
Thorzane.
No Thorzane.
Practicing.
Is
can we just take
Chef
a moment
here?
to talk about Thorzane, even though he's not here?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
I mean, let me just take a moment to say that a lot of times, especially for, all right, Sase's coming on, Wally's coming on. A lot of times we talk about, you know, some of the, who I would, if I was to choose the top role models for competitive gaming and esports, and this being a combination of a skillful player and their story and their attitude, you know, I would choose Thorzane over so many players 1,000 times. He is incredible. I really look forward to it. But we have another incredible guy here as well.
Welcome, Quantic Sase. Increasingly becoming one of the most popular Protoss streamers and players around. And of course, I immediately note that there was a question. Let's just go ahead and kick off your arrival with a question from the crowd.
Hi, I'm Tim from St. Louis, Missouri.
Yes, yeah, Midwest.
Right.
Yeah. Woo, any Midwesters? Okay.
Shout out to Day 9, first of all. Got a custom shirt on
for
you
it's a Day 9 custom shirt. Right on.
But I had a question for all of you. What do you think about Ravens haven't been really utilized much in the past in the metagame in any of the matchups, but now we're seeing this shift to a lot more Raven use. What do you guys think that's going to do to the metagame in any matchup, for that matter?
Well, I mean, I definitely think that, you know, Raven Seeker Missile is ideal versus a ton of late game Zerg compositions. I mean, they're slow, they're unwieldy. If you engage them, it's horrible, right? It's just these complete brutalizations with Broodlord and Fester. But if you can just get 3 or 4 Ravens to get 3 or 4 decent shots, you can obliterate that army, and it clusters really nicely. You never really have a ton of Broodlords spread out because they're too easy to pick off. So that's probably the biggest one. And you know, Sasa, I'd want to direct it to you to ask if you've experienced Ravens in the Protoss versus Terran matchup, other than of course 1-1-1.
I did sometimes, but I just feedback them, so it's no problem for me.
Oh yeah. And yeah, Sean, we were talking to a lot of players earlier. Last Shadow was one of them, and Illusion was there also, and they were saying that, you know, the Ravens definitely really good. The main problem is being able to afford them, because you were saying get 4 or 5 of them. That costs a lot of gas to get that, especially the Seeker Missile, and you have to wait for it. But I think players, which we kind of predicted this when the game first came out, that players are going to learn how to survive longer, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So they can actually get to that stage of the game, and they're like, oh, there's other units here. Just like they'll, for a long time, they didn't use Ghosts versus Zerg. It took them a long time to realize, oh, wait, EMP and Snipe actually kills everything Zerg has. And once they figured that out, then it was really, really good for a long time. So from talking to the players, they seem to be trying to experiment to figure out, how do I stay in the game long enough to actually get these out?
Yeah, now, you know, Sasa, I want to ask you a question a little bit about, you know, we've been talking about innovation with the Raven. You're known for your really crazy, innovative builds that, you know, have a lot of 2 on gas and this sort of thing. How do you come up with those sort of things? Do you like find inspiration from other players, or do you just notice from grinding out a lot of games?
I didn't really watch replays from other players for, I think, a year or something. So the way I learn is just like I practice all the time, and then I realize very, very small things that can have a big impact on the game.
What would you say was one of your biggest revelations that you sort of saw and was like, oh, that's really awesome?
It's too hard to say. Like, I feel like I make big changes to my play every month, so it's really hard to pick something. You might see some new things tomorrow.
All right.
Ooh, I like that tease. How often are you practicing? Like, I know that a lot of players know you as like a real practice machine, playing tons all the time. But for any who don't know, tell us a little bit about what your practice regimen has been like for the last several months.
Last month has been like almost only practice. I didn't go out anything, maybe one time. But I don't think it's like I practice a lot. Everyone in StarTale is practicing pretty much the same amount. So in Korea, it's nothing special, really.
Where's your hat?
I was going to ask the exact same thing.
Is the hat lurking about?
Where's the hat?
It's right at the hotel. I'm not playing today, so I will bring it tomorrow.
Oh, only for playing.
It has to stay home and charge.
Yeah.
Doesn't want to use all the useful hat energy on interviews. Do we have another question for Sase or for the panel out there in the crowd?
Someone's
excellent.
Yes.
No, it was a thumbs down. Great. Well, just if you could raise your hand again, this fine gentleman out in the crowd is the one with the microphone. If you have questions that you would like to ask us or Sase or some of the players, please come on over at any point. So I'll ask that in your group you have, Teja, Thorzane, and Sheth. Who's a player that you're really fearing your match against the most?
I don't know. I think everyone is the same for me. I feel very good about this. Just like if the settings are good. I didn't feel good when I played today, but in the practice I never felt this confident before. So hopefully I will feel better tomorrow when I play.
And if you made it all the way to the finals, who would be the final boss, the hardest player you think to overcome?
Any Starcraft player would be the hardest for me because we are teammates, so it's always hard to play a teammate.
It's a great answer.
Any questions from Wheaton Husky for Mr. Sase?
I wanted to know about the hat, so I'm kind of sad. One thing I've been asking a lot of players just in talking is how is the traveling going? Because a lot of players, I mean, it's always different for each player. They get so jet lagged, and we've seen players just play miserably at one tournament and then amazingly at that. And so I'm just kind of curious, in flying here, like how's the travel?
I'm not jet lagged at all, so I'm not worried about that because always when I travel to USA or Europe, I prepare before, so I look what time I should wake up, like Korean time, and then when I get to US, it's no problem. But
smart dude.
He just metagamed real life.
My airplane got delayed, and so I had to take a total of 4 airplanes, and that kind of sucked. I had middle seat every airplane as well. So.
That's brilliant. So you would just get up in Korea at like 2 a.m. if you had an upcoming European tournament?
Yeah, I went to sleep so I woke up at 11 p.m. in the evening, and then I just stayed awake until my airplane, and I slept all the airplanes and stayed awake until evening in USA, and I went to sleep, and yeah, I woke up 10 this morning, so I'm like perfect jet lagged for this.
I've actually never heard a player say that. I don't know.
That came out to be a surprisingly interesting answer.
Wow. You just prepare beforehand. I mean, my technique is just go, ugh, and just deal with it. So that's awesome. Well, Sase, I want to say good luck. Thank you so much for coming up on this panel. Please shake my hand. Thank you all. Thank God.
Give it up for Sase.
Woo. Let's hear it for Sase, ladies and gentlemen. So, I mean, as we're proceeding at a very nice clip. Oh, it looks like we have a question. Fantastic. Let's go ahead and take a question from the crowd.
Hey, my name is Edmund. I'm from Houston, Texas. This was actually kind of for Sase, but he went away. So I'll ask you, Day9 and Husky and Wheat. So if you guys ever play PvP, sometimes you'll find yourself in a Phoenix versus Phoenix situation. What's your preferred response in those situations? Do you expand or do you make more Phoenixes?
Oh, wow. Actually, I need Sase back here for that question. That's actually a really weird, funky, technical situation. And I've been in that. I know exactly what you mean. Because the difficulty of when you're both going Phoenix is you can't quite support 2 Stargate Phoenixes. You can support like 1.5 gate Phoenixes. So It's kind of ambiguous, the ideal tech path. Have you ever been in a situation where you open Phoenix and Protoss versus Protoss and you're both going Phoenix?
Sure. I have been. Make more Phoenix and try to kill his Phoenix.
Do you ever do anything extreme like add a second Stargate?
I did one game on my stream against Tiger, my teammate, so that worked out that time.
Yeah, I mean, do you have to play more defensively because you're worried about him out-chronoing the Phoenix? Do you think it's ever correct to stop Phoenix production in that spot?
It's really hard to say. It depends on like everything about the opening, how much you killed, and if you like kill something with your Phoenix. If you build your Stargate before his, you might have 1 extra Phoenix. Your micro in the Phoenix battle and everything. So it's like it's really, really difficult to say. It depends on the situation, I think.
Do you even end up opening Phoenix a lot in your own ladder games or in PvP in general?
These days I play like every kind of strategy and some involve Phoenix.
Do you gentlemen have any opinions on Phoenix versus Phoenix?
I just want to say that Phoenix and PvP are so annoying because they just pick up everything and kill it. So I have been opening it and just, make more Phoenix.
You know, I almost feel like it's really similar to how it used to go with Blink versus Blink, where neither player really wants to stop making Stalkers because there's that like timing where If you stop, I'll attack you and kill you. So the easiest answer is that it's really hard and really tricky, and just that's the point of StarCraft, is that it should be really hard. What a great guys! Thank you to Sase for coming up twice.
Thank you, Sase.
Now, as we're moving from A to B to C, are there specific C group players you want to bring on? Because I know of 2.
Well, I mean, Huck is an obvious choice. You know, I think if we could get MC up here, that'd be kind of cool.
Is EG's Huck lurking about in the crowd anywhere? Is there a Huck? And if not, is there an Ostoji? We'd love to bring both of those players up.
Ostoji is definitely here.
Ostoji, come
ready.
sit by me, Chris. Chris, welcome. Well, first of all, how are you enjoying Austin?
It's a beautiful city, beautiful venue. I love it. It's pretty amazing in there for those of you who haven't been in yet, but just wait for tomorrow because it's...
Good answer.
That's either amazing or it's going to split in half. Now, Chris, tell us a little bit about your own thoughts on your group.
Well, it's certainly, for me, the hardest group of the bunch. There's no Zerg. ZVZ is my best matchup. And there's 2 Protosses, and they're very, very, very good Protosses. But I think I'm in really good shape right now, and I know I'm definitely the underdog in the group, but I'll put on some good games, and hopefully I'll be able to make it out.
What's your, I mean, you know, obviously the Zerg versus Protoss woes of the Zerg are heard by many, but what do you feel are some of the most difficult things to deal with in a versus Protoss matchup?
I think right now the unit that bothers me the most is the Mothership, because it goes super late game, and you have your almost unbeatable Broodlord Infestor army composition, and it goes down to whether or not they can get that Vortex. And to me, it seems a little bit like a coin flip, whether or not you can get that Neural Parasite or whether or not they can get that huge money Vortex. And for me, that is frustrating as a player because I don't like to base my games off of sitting back and having to wait and push spine crawlers forward. I'm a pretty aggressive player. I like to do a lot of multi-attacks. So late game, that is frustrating for me, and I just got to sort of take my time, use the Infestors, and abuse them.
I have one other follow-up question. If you could choose any map to play your Protoss counterparts on the entire tournament, what would that map be?
In this map pool, I really like the map Daybreak.
Okay.
But there are a lot, and yeah, we'll just see what I decide to do.
Excellent.
And least favorite map?
Least favorite map? Ooh, in Tomb Valley probably. It really depends. If you get horizontal or vertical spawns, it can be really tough. Cross spawns is obviously very good for Zerg, but I don't like that kind of coin flip, so.
Yeah, I just want to say one of the things I like about Red Bull Land is getting to know players. There's some on the list that people haven't even heard of yet. And so as far as you, like, what is your history just in StarCraft in general? Like, we were talking this earlier at lunch, but, I mean, not everyone was there. So I'm just kind of curious, like, what is your history in StarCraft in both the original and StarCraft II?
So you weren't streaming your lunch? What husky?
No one would ever talk to me if I did. I'd be like, oh, hey, guys, ready for an interview? Like, no, shut up.
So, unlike everyone else here at this tournament, well, except for Illusion, I'm a full-time student, so I don't have as much time to play, but I still put a lot of time into the game, and obviously I'm very motivated to play. I started playing Brood War about 5 years ago, fairly competitively, and I was okay at that, but I mean, compared to the Koreans, foreign StarCraft was always just not up to par. But StarCraft II was released, and everyone got a fresh start, and I was able to sort of compete a lot more with the top North American foreign players. And over the last 6 months or so, I've sort of started making a name for myself, and it's been quite a ride. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
What is your practice schedule like with college?
Well, it really depends on, I guess, my work schedule. But, I try and average around like 4 hours a day if I can, because that's, enough to keep me in good shape. And I feel like I've gradually been getting better. I haven't felt like I've slumped at all so far in my career. So I'm really looking forward to the summer and all the events that I'm going to go to.
And we have a question in the crowd? Fantastic. Let's hear it. Name and location.
My name is Walter. I'm from College Station, Texas, right here.
Woo!
And my question, it's an Aggie thing. They know what they're doing. My question is for any and everybody. What players in this tournament are you most worried about in terms of facing off against their own races, like a Zerg versus Zerg or Protoss versus Protoss type of setup?
Oh, the worst mirror matchup players.
Like, yeah, who are you? Like, what player? Like, let's say, are you worried about Stefano versus Zerg? Or are you worried, anything like that? Like, what players would you be most worried about facing off against their own races?
Wow, that is a hell of a question. I don't think anyone's ever asked that ever. I mean, I feel like I have to say MC going against Huck just because historically MC has not performed well versus Huck, but.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, Sean, because that matchup's so stressful. Like, if you're a fan of, say, MC or Huck, I imagine a lot of people are a fan of both. Like, watching PvP is so stressful because each unit is worth so much. So if one player loses a Stalker, you know, your favorite player could have just been eliminated right there. So I would say anyone who's a Protoss fan watching your favorite Protoss face off against another Protoss is pretty stressful.
Do you have any opinions, Mr. Wheat?
I mean, I would just say and we will see this matchup, but the rematch of Stefano versus Violet, where Violet kind of, you know, took Stefano and just kind of shook him a little bit, and it was a pretty solid ZVZ victory for Violet. I feel like Stefano's better than that, you know? Like, I want to see that again. I'm not sure I'd favor either side just because ZVZ has always been one of those crazy matchups, but Violet's been looking pretty good in that, so I just want to see that one again.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Zerg players. I mean, I know you say you're a Zerg versus Zerg specialist. Is there a Zerg player you see in the lineup who's lacking? I mean, I know that some Zergs don't have other Zergs in their group, but still, let's assume that they made it to the playoffs. Who do you think is, you know, might have a little bit of trouble in that mirror matchup?
Well, for me personally, I've done quite well against Violet. He's the Zerg here that, you know, I've played against a lot, and I think he's a very intelligent player. And I do have a very good winner against him in ZVZ. So if I were to advance on past the group stage, he's the player I'd like to face the most.
That is one of the most badass things I've ever heard. I've never imagined someone go, oh, what a relief, I'm up against Violet in the round of 8.
Exactly,
oh, thank God.
Right?
Oh, I was worried I'd be up against Squirtle. Wow. And do you have any opinions on the other matchups? I mean, like, actually, I'm curious, as a Zerg player, I know a lot of players only study their own matchups. Do you follow a lot of other players and a lot of the other matchups? Like, how does studying the other races' matchups you don't even have to play go for you?
Well, obviously it's not as important for me, but as a StarCraft player, I like to understand the game as a whole and understand a lot of the current metagames because obviously StarCraft is what I do and it's what I love, so I do keep up a lot with a lot of current metagames for all the matchups. It is definitely important.
And is there a mirror player in the other two races who come to mind as particularly weak or maybe even particularly strong?
I know Huck's PvP is insanely good, and I think him versus MC tomorrow is definitely a matchup to look out for, as you said. Parting as well has really good PvP. And I mean, I watched him last MLG. I just watched him play, and it blew me away how good he is. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him play and how well he can do at this tournament.
Do we have another question? I thought I saw the hand pop up. Am I wrong? Am I lying? It's so hard. It's so bright and beautifully well lit. Oh, we have a question right over here. If we can get the mic to the right, that would be fantastic. And actually, guys, while we have Ostoji here, are there any Ostoji-based questions you want to throw out? Yes, question. Fantastic.
Hello there.
Hello. Who are you? From where do you hail?
My name is Matt Samville, and I come from Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Oh, hold it like touching your lips.
Right.
Yes.
My name is Matt Samville, and I come from Elkhorn, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yes.
So I actually have a question for Mike. I know there was a situation where you had to take your Brood War replays off of YouTube, and I'm curious if there was any chance or way you could put them back up or find an external site so we can enjoy them again.
I took them down. It was more of a personal choice just because, I mean, no one told me, hey, you have to take these down. I took them down just because I technically didn't own the rights to those videos, so I didn't want to, like, cause any trouble. I don't have them anymore, so if they're backed somewhere up on the internet, then yeah. But I wasn't, like, threatened with a lawsuit or anything. I just felt like, you know, I wanted all my stuff to be created by me. So that's why I ended up taking them down.
That's a disappointingly small amount of drama, Mike.
I know.
Someone broke into your house with a gun and was like, you take those videos down. It's like, anything but those videos. Like, shot your dog.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of good memories with the Brood War games. And I'm kind of sad they're gone, but there's still a lot of Brood War stuff out there.
Do you have a favorite Brood War pro?
Ooh.
Well, next MLG obviously is going to be incredible. One of my favorite players actually is now Complexity's Killer, but in Brood War his ID was Sangho. And I grew up watching him, and you know, playing him in Starcraft II is just such an honor. It's a surreal experience to get the chance to play all these Brood War pros that you followed growing up. And watch. So yeah, I love it.
Sean, we should all answer that question. That's a great question.
Favorite Brood War Pro?
Aside from yourself.
Yes. God, I loved me. Oh, I was so good. Except for all those times when I lost again and again. I mean, probably Jae Dong.
Yeah.
That's hard not to be a favorite player of. But also, I loved Anytime. Anytime was so good. That's like one of my youngest memories of Brood War was watching Anytime versus Boxer. OSL Finals. So sick. Marcus?
Even though it's kind of like, I think a lot of people say it's a generic answer, it was Boxer who pretty much opened my eyes to what the potential of esports could be. And back when I was just a lowly Quake 3 commentator, I saw, Boxer perform and all the things that he was doing and all the accomplishments that he had in Korea. Like, I respect that on just the largest level, so I just have to go with Boxer.
Right on, Mike.
And I think in my heart of hearts, Jaedong's my favorite, but Stork I was always cheering for just because I knew he was going to lose the finals, and that made it good. He has so many second place finishes that poor man. He looks so sad every single time.
Favorite numbers 2.
Yep.
Well, Chris, any last words before you step off?
Thanks everyone that's coming out. Thanks everyone that's watching. I hope to, make a splash this weekend. But either way, it's gonna be an awesome event. So, look forward.
Woo! Woo! Now, I don't know if either of you fine gentlemen need a sort of restroom break, but I'm sorely missing Robert Simpson. Is Rob Simpson lurking away? Rob.
He's enjoying his time off.
Rob, who now has been placed into Group D. No, hey, welcome back, Rob.